Okay, let's just state the obvious. We are living through an AI revolution, a complete whirlwind of mind-blowing technology, absolutely staggering amounts of money, and a public conversation that is getting, well, let's just say it's getting complicated. To put it simply, and this quote just nails it, it's been absolutely wild. That perfectly captures the pace and the sheer scale of everything that's happening right now. It really is a perfect storm of innovation, investment, and some really intense debate. So let's try to make some sense of this whirlwind, shall we? We're going to break down the three key forces that are really at play here, the ones shaping the future of AI right before our very eyes.
First, we'll dive into the technology itself. I'm talking robots and AI models that seriously feel like they've jumped straight out of a sci-fi novel. Then we're going to follow the money, and trust me, the numbers are almost unbelievable. And finally, we'll hit a crucial reality check, a public pushback that's getting louder and could honestly change the entire game.
Let's kick things off with the innovation, because the progress here is something you can actually see and touch. And frankly, it's almost hard to believe. This isn't just about code on a screen anymore. The robots are well and truly here. And all of this is happening so incredibly fast. I mean, you've got Terror Robotics showing off machines that can do delicate hand embroidery. Figure AI's humanoid is holding conversations that feel unnervingly natural. A Chinese automaker is already putting humanoid robots on its EV battery production lines. And of course, the legendary Boston Dynamics is getting its Atlas robot ready for a huge public debut. The science fiction future, it's literally becoming the factory floor present. It's not just the physical hardware, though. The brains behind these operations, the AI models themselves, are being released at a dizzying pace. It honestly feels like trying to drink from a fire hose of new software. You've got the giants like OpenAI and Apple dropping new, specialized models constantly. And what's really fascinating is that the open source community is keeping pace, releasing these powerful tools that are available to everyone. But, this rapid, almost unchecked progress has a darker side, with demonstrations of AI-driven combat robots raising some pretty serious ethical alarms about where this is all going. And speaking of the giants, OpenAI has a vision that goes way, way beyond your laptop. After they bought Jony Ive's legendary design firm for a staggering $6.5 billion, their goal became crystal clear. They want to create an entirely new category of AI device. The ambition here is what's so interesting. Sam Altman himself said that just sticking with a screen would be repeating the past. They want to fundamentally break away from the graphical interface that has defined how we interact with technology for decades. So what does that actually look like? Well, think of the movie Her. The plan is for a device that acts as a true AI companion. It sees and hears the world right along with you, communicating and helping you through an earpiece. No screen needed at all. That's a radical shift in how we even imagine interacting with computers. Now, ambition on that scale, building the hardware for a whole new AI revolution, that takes an incredible amount of money. So let's pivot and follow the money trail, because the numbers fueling this boom are just astronomical. Just take a look at NVIDIA, the company making the chips that power basically everything. They posted a record $57 billion quarter, and as you can see in that second bar, they're forecasting even higher for the next one, $65 billion. Their growth isn't just massive, it is actually accelerating. $500 billion. Let that sink in. That is the amount of revenue NVIDIA says it can already see coming in for its next generation chips through the end of 2026. They argue it's not a bubble, but a fundamental platform shift, which just shows you the sheer scale of the industrial transformation happening. And it's not just the hardware, not by a long shot. The software side is absolutely exploding. OpenAI went from 300 million to 800 million weekly users in a single year. Anthropic's revenue is projected to jump from 1 billion to as much as 26 billion in just 2 years. The demand is just insatiable. Which brings us to the central question, doesn't it? The real tension at the heart of this whole story. With all this progress, all this money, all this corporate momentum, is this actually what people want? Because while Silicon Valley is racing full speed ahead toward its vision of the future, a very different story is unfolding out in the real world. There's a growing backlash, a reality check that the industry really cannot afford to ignore. People are genuinely scared about losing their jobs to automation. The creative community is in open revolt, arguing their work is being devalued and, well, stolen.
The public debate is getting more and more hostile, and recent polls show a really clear trend of growing distrust toward AI. Many people see it as a threat to human connection and creativity itself.
And this right here highlights the great disconnect. On one side, you have an industry focused on profit, efficiency, and what's possible. On the other, you have a public that's experiencing all this change through the lens of their own job security, their values, and their sense of purpose. It's like they're living in two totally different realities. The UN projects the AI market could be worth nearly $5 trillion by 2033. But here's the thing. Can you really achieve that kind of growth if the public increasingly sees your product as a direct threat to their livelihood and even their humanity? All of this brings us to a critical turning point, a real fork in the road for the future of artificial intelligence, where two powerful forces are set on a collision course. We are witnessing a direct collision. You have the unstoppable force of technological progress and financial investment meeting the immovable object of public anxiety and social concern. How this conflict gets resolved is going to define the next decade. The future of AI isn't some distant concept anymore. It is arriving right now with incredible speed. And that leaves all of us with the most important question of all. In this whirlwind of robots, billions, and backlash, who ultimately gets to decide what that future really looks like?